Welcome back to SJG Perspective. Well, hey, it's been a couple minutes since I got a real video out here in my studio man cave. I want to talk a little bit about BYU getting attacked by the woke crowd, the LGBTQIA, so on and so forth acronyms, because of their stance on gay marriage or gay relationships. We're going to get right into that, but before we do, hey, will you please follow me on Parler at SJG Perspective and on DLive? I'm only asking you to follow me on those two, and then I'll put the link in this description to my Discord, so please join me there. But DLive, everyone get over there. It's the best place to be. We can say what we want. We don't have to worry about hurting people's fifis and getting shut down. So this article that comes out of Big League Politics, which is definitely slanted, hard right, but I like a lot of what they have to say. It's pretty much on point. Anyway, it says, woke BYU students protest university over longstanding LGBTQ policy. Brigham Young University, BYU, dropped a section of their code of conduct concerning LGBTQ relationships within their student body. This section banned all forms of physical intimacy that give expression to homosexual feelings. Many on campus who identify as LGBTQ were celebrating the occasion, yet, as probably should have been expected, the dropping of the section was not meant to allow same-sex relationships on campus. BYU clarified in a letter, turn that down, my other thing came on real quick. BYU clarified in a letter on Wednesday saying same-sex romantic behavior cannot lead to internal marriage and is therefore not compatible with the principles included in the Honor Code. Despite BYU students knowing full well, probably before they even applied, that the university is explicitly Mormon institution, LGBT students and those who support them were outraged. Well, of course they were. How dare you? How dare you say that we can't go to heaven or whatever, or come to your private school. We love the doodads or the vajayjay, and we have a vajayjay or we have doodads, and you know what I mean, homosexual. Many students protested the lack of reversal of the longstanding policy. Addison Jenkins said BYU does not care about queer people. Another student, Tia Una Lomax, objected to the university's clarification, saying, "I thought BYU cared about me." Hey, listen, it's not BYU or any other organization or any other person other than your mom and your dad and your brothers and your sisters, and not really even them, but probably them, to love you. Okay, it's not, when you get out in the world, it is not a prerequisite that everybody love you. And just so you know, just because though someone doesn't necessarily agree with you or they have religious beliefs that are different than yours and they don't agree with lifestyles doesn't mean also that they don't love you. Just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean they don't love you, right? Or care about you as a person. So get over yourself, you woke little fragile little people out there that are just so scared that everybody must love everybody. And also, love doesn't, or an aspect of love means you're not easily offended. So if you're easily getting offended by every little trinket that falls across your pathway that you don't like, you're not being very loving if you're so easily offended. Live and let live. That's kind of what it is. Just live and let live. Some students held signs that protested expressing similar grievances. One sign said, "Love one another," presumably referring to the Bible verse John 13:34-35. Another sign said, "Love means love," a common LGBTQ pride slogan. Additionally, students who showed up to object to protesting of the school's policy were shouted down. The protesters used chants like, "Love, not hate, will make BYU great." Say, "Love, but not hate, will make BYU great." Love, not. To keep the counter-protests from being heard. Of course they did, because that's very loving, to shout down somebody else. The idea that BYU hates LGBT students or that the school is being unloving or uncaring is not in line with the university's stated intent. In fact, the university has encouraged the exact opposite of hate towards LGBT students. They don't encourage the Mormonites, the children that go through there, the kids that go through there and come out to hate people. Of course not. They actually do teach them to be accepting and to show love to people and be caring towards people. But just again, just because someone doesn't agree with your lifestyle doesn't mean they don't love you or care about you. And even if someone doesn't care about you, that's life. There's certain people that don't, and that's life. And it's a private institution, a private college. It is not their responsibility or their duty or their obligation to bow down to everybody and every little whim of this social, political, cultural whims of whims or winds of change or whatever you want to call it. I'm not coming up with a good analogy right there, but you know what I mean, or you mean what I know. BYU is a private institution whose code of conduct is directly tied to the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. This means that it is a private religious institution and thus is protected by the First Amendment. Therefore, the university is clearly protected by the First Amendment. They don't necessarily need to worry about a legal case being made against them. Even without the threat of legal case, that's what they do here. You know, they're going to lose in the court of public opinion by the LGBTQ that shouts down anybody and everybody that says, hey, you want to live that way? That's cool. But I don't necessarily want to raise my family or program my family that this is the most beneficial way to live or the most fruitful or optimal way to live your life. I don't think that this is the way in a religious family you can teach your family that I don't believe this is how God wants you to. Now, you could be wrong in telling your kids that, but you don't telling them to go out and hate people. Yeah, that's obviously wrong. I don't think anybody should do that. But in America, you have the right to teach anybody whatever you want to. It's short of calling for action of actual violence towards somebody. You can teach and say and do just about anything you want to. And I'm sorry that offends so many people, but that's just the truth. So I just thought this one was worth chatting about and just touching on that. Again, it's the wokeness, man, the cancel culture. If they don't like what you're having to say, if you don't bow down and capitulate, they will fry you up. They'll fry you up like some bacon. And they will sizzle you and make you not the good kind of with the bacon that has a little grease and fat in it, because that's the best way to eat bacon. They make you like crunchy, like they fry all the grease out of the bacon, like crunchy, brittle bacon, which it's not the best. It's good on BLTs because when you're biting the sandwich, you don't want the fat to pull out. But, with your eggs and whatnot, no, you want your little bit of fat in there. And they'll fry you up. They'll fry you up all crispy like if you don't agree with them. And we need to stand for our First Amendment. We need to stand for the ability to say, I don't agree with that. And that doesn't mean I hate you, but it doesn't mean I have to bow down to you. And that's about all for this episode of SJG Perspective. Please tune in this weekend. We're going to have a really great show. I actually did some work on the show, and you guys need to tune in. It's going to be 5 p.m. on Saturday. I'm going to have Drone Tech on with me and maybe one other person. I don't know yet. So we will see you then. And until next time, without fear or animus, it's SJG Perspective. You guys have a wonderful night. Bye.